We're going to talk about today the top 5 best class setups to use in Modern Warfare 2 Season 1 Reloaded. And then later on in the video, we're going to talk about some stats regarding these weapons that we're about to talk about. So make sure to leave a like, subscribe, turn on notifications, and let's just get on with the video. All right, so for the first class setup, we're going to talk about the RAAL MG. This is a light machine gun, and I know this might be a shocker to you guys, but this is the fastest killing gun in the game right now. So I just want to preface this with the fact that you are not supposed to be rushing around with this gun. You need to be ready for gunfights at all times. Pick your gunfights. Don't let the gunfights pick you. All right, for the first attachment, we have the 𝗧𝗨𝗥𝗕𝗢𝗠 for aiming idle stability, aim walking steadiness, and recoil steadiness, with a few cons in sprint to fire speed and aim down sight speed, but we're going to mitigate those negatives in the other attachments. Now, as for the tuning goes, we're going to max out that recoil stabilization as well as that aim walking speed. And for the magazine, we're going to be using the 50 round magazine. Even though the default magazine is larger, we do want to have the movement, the aim down sight speed, sprint to fire speed, and reload quickness pros. That is the main reason why we're using this attachment right here, to just give ourselves a chance in case we do have to engage in closer quarter combat. Now for the rear grip, we're going to be shifting things to the mobility side of things with the Bruen Q900 grip wrap, which gives us sprint to fire speed, aim down sight speed with 1 con and recoil control. Now as far as the tuning goes, we're going to max out that recoil steadiness as well as that sprint to fire speed. Now for the stock, we're going to go with the FSS Riot stock, crouch movement speed, sprint speed, aim down sight speed, 1 con and recoil control. And as for the tuning goes, we're maxing out that aim down sight speed as well as that aim walking speed. Now for the optic, this is an optic I highly recommend, the Cronin Mini Pro. It just gives you the best overall picture possible. I did a testing just to compare with the aim OP, for example. When you're aiming down sights, you literally don't see opponents that could be standing there because the sights are just too thick. But when you're using the Cronin Mini Pro, you see everything. That's why I really like this attachment. Now for the tuning, we're going to be going with flinch resistance all the way maxed out, and for the eye position, I have it on far. All right, for the rest of the class setup, this is pretty important. Combat knife, so we can move faster. If we need to get from point A to point B a lot faster, this is going to be our best bet, especially us using an LMG. Now for the tactical, I have stim shot. Lethal is going to be Claymore, and here is my specific perk package for this class setup: Scavenger, Bomb Squad, Fast Hands, and Quick Fix. And as for the field upgrades go, I'm using Dead Silence as well as Munitions Box. All right, next up we have the Honey Badger, the Chimera. This is literally the best gun to use as far as assault rifles go for that close to mid-range. Now let's start off with the underbarrel here. We're using the Schlager Tango. This gives us hip fire accuracy, aim walking steadiness, as well as recoil steadiness, 1 con and aim down sight speed. For the tuning, we have the hip walking speed all the way maxed out, as well as that hip fire accuracy. Now for the magazine, I feel like this is much needed. It's the Honey Badger. It's got a pretty fast fire rate. If you guys want to see a stat video on that, make sure to check that out on my channel as well. But you run out of ammo fairly quickly, and I feel like the 45 round mag is necessary. The only problem here is the cons. There's a lot of cons here: movement speed, aim down sight speed, reload quickness, and sprint to fire speed. That's why we're going to mitigate all these negatives here soon. Now for the rear grip, we're using the D37 grip for recoil control and aiming stability. Accuracy is going to be important on a high fire rate weapon such as the Honey Badger, so that's why this attachment is essential. Now for the tuning, we have aim down sight speed maxed out and aiming idle stability as well. For the stock, this is where the movement comes in here to mitigate the negative on the magazine. We have the Ravage 8 stock for crouch movement speed, sprint speed, and aim down sight speed, 1 con and recoil control. For the tuning, we're actually going to be maxing out that aim down sight speed as well as that aim walking speed. Now for the final attachment here, we're going to be using the 1 milliwatt quick fire laser for aim down sight speed. This is literally free aim down sight speed. There's no reason why you should turn this one down. It just helps out with the handling. Now one thing, if you're not familiar with the Honey Badger, it comes with an integrated suppressor, so that would be the muzzle here. That's why we see this icon right here for the muzzle, because it already comes with it. Essentially, we have a 6 attachment class setup, and trust me, the Honey Badger is definitely worth the grind. If you want to unlock this gun, it is just an absolute monster on multiplayer, especially on close to mid-range maps. Now as far as the rest of the class setup goes, we're not going to go over them again because they're usually the same exact thing, but here's a quick preview of what I'm using for the rest of the class setup. All right, next up, we have the Kastov 7.62. I really love this class setup. It is the most consistent assault rifle in the game, and like I said, we're going to talk about those stats later on in the video. All right, so for the muzzle, we're going to start off with the Lockshot KT85 for vertical recoil control and horizontal recoil control, and a few cons in aim down sight speed and aiming stability. For the tuning, you want to prioritize the recoil stabilization as well as that gun kick control. This is going to help out a lot with our accuracy as well as our recoil. Now for the underbarrel, this is one of my favorite attachments on certain guns because it comes with 1 pro of aiming idle stability and 0 cons. The best part is we can tune it. So we're going to lean towards more that aim down sight speed as well as that aim walking speed. Now for the magazine, if you want to go on higher streaks, I recommend you put on the 40 round magazine despite all those cons listed here. Now that's where the rear grip comes in with a true tack grip for the sprint to fire speed and aim down sight speed, giving us a little bit of handling here. And as for the tuning goes, we're going to tune it further to lean more on the handling side of things once again for more aim down sight speed as well as sprint to fire speed. Last but not least, for the stock, we're using the 𝗪𝗑𝗢 R7 stock for crouch movement speed, sprint speed, and aim down sight speed. This is to totally mitigate the negatives on the extended magazine. In the tuning, we're going to be prioritizing aim walking steadiness as well as that aiming idle stability. All right, next up we have the Fennec 45. I actually have 2 alternate builds for you guys. This gun needs no introduction, man. This is literally a really fast killing SMG. All right, so we're going to call this my balanced class setup. So for the Fennec 45, I'm using the 𝗧𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 for horizontal and vertical recoil control. It being a high fire rate weapon, it is important that we focus on recoil control. For the tuning, we have aim down sight speed maxed out and gun kick control maxed out as well. For the underbarrel, we've chosen the phase 3 grip for aiming idle stability, hip fire accuracy, and recoil stabilization with a few cons in walking speed and aim down sight speed. Tuning, we have aim down sight speed all the way maxed out and aim walking speed maxed out as well. Now for the magazine, we're using the 45 round magazine. This is going to help us stay on streaks a lot longer. And again, it being a high fire rate weapon, it is important that we have an extended magazine because we're going to go through ammo fairly quickly when we're using this gun. Now for the rear grip, we're using the Fennec rubber grip for sprint to fire speed and aim down sight speed. This is designed to just mitigate the negatives on the extended mag. As for tuning goes, we're prioritizing aim down sight speed as well as that sprint to fire speed. Now for the stock, we're using the Agile Assault 7 stock for sprint speed, aim walking speed, crouch movement speed, and aim down sight speed. Again, mitigating the negative on the extended mag. And as for the tuning goes, we're going to be prioritizing aim down sight speed and aim walking speed once again. All right, for my alternate Fennec 45 class setup, this is designed for more close quarter combat situations. And this class setup also comes with a suppressor in it for people who want to stay stealthy, even if you're trying to attack enemies up close and personal. It's going to add that other layer of confusion to your opponents of not really being able to pinpoint where the sound is coming from, especially when you're playing up close and personal. All right, underbarrel is going to be the same thing, phase 3 grip. Tuning is going to be aim down sight speed maxed out, and we're actually going to keep the tuning on the bottom neutral. Now the reason why is because I try to minimize that red as much as possible when we're looking at the overall stats of the gun after we apply all the attachments, because I think it's very important to balance out the gun as much as we possibly can. So that's why this specific tuning is kept neutral for the aim walking speed and aiming idle stability. Now for the rear grip, again, we're going with the Fennec rubber grip. For the tuning, this one's very specific as well. So we're actually going to be tuning it to 0.16 ounces on the left side. And then for the sprint to fire speed, we're maxing that out. Stock is going to be the same thing, Agile Assault 7 stock. And for the tuning, we're maxing out aim down sight speed and aim walking speed. For the laser, we're using the 𝗧𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗧𝗏 for hip recoil control and hip fire accuracy. And for the barrel, we're using the Fennec covert force, sound suppression, damage range, hip fire accuracy, and bullet velocity. For the tuning, we have this maxed out for the recoil steadiness as well as that aim down sight speed. All right, and last but not least, we have the MP5, aka the Lachmann sub. I really like this class setup. This is designed for close to mid-range combat. Starting off with the underbarrel, we have the VX Pineapple for hip fire accuracy, hip recoil control, recoil steadiness, as well as aim walking steadiness. For the tuning, we have the hip recoil control maxed out and that hip fire accuracy maxed out as well. Now for the muzzle, we're using the 𝗧𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 for horizontal and vertical recoil control. Tuning on this one is the recoil stabilization maxed out as well as that aiming idle stability. For the barrel, we're using the 𝗧𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 sub 12-inch barrel for bullet velocity, damage range, recoil control, and hip fire accuracy. I still think it's important, even if you're meant to use this in close quarter combat situations, to still have some form of recoil control so that you can compete at mid-range if you need to. And for the tuning, we're going to prioritize recoil steadiness as well as that aim down sight speed. For the stock, we're using the LM stockless mod for aim down sight speed, sprint to fire speed, movement speed, and hip recoil control. So this is a very aggressive attachment that is going to make the overall attachment and class setup feel very aggressive. So this is going to help out with the movement, mobility aspect type of things and just make you more mobile in close quarter combat. For the rear grip, we have the LM Cronus grip for flinch resistance. This is going to help you out in gunfights, keeping your gun steady if you're being shot at. As for the tuning goes, we're maxing out the aim down sight speed as well as the sprint to fire speed. So one thing that I do want to clarify is that the LM stockless mod is actually not able to be tuned. And here's a bonus class setup, because I know you guys are probably wondering, what about the M4? For the M4, we're using the 𝗧𝗧𝗥 Ripper for the underbarrel. For the tuning, we have aim down sight speed and aim walking speed maxed out. Muzzle is going to be the 𝗧𝗧𝗥 Castle Comp. Tuning is going to be aim down sight speed and aiming idle stability maxed out. Barrel is going to be the Hightower 20-inch barrel, with tuning maxed out on aim walking speed as well as aim down sight speed. Stock is the Ravage 8. Tuning is maxed out on aim down sight speed and aim walking speed. And for the rear grip, we have the Extend grip. Tuning is going to be maxed out for aim down sight speed and sprint to fire speed. So looking at the bottom left-hand corner, you'll notice that all of my class setups have 0 negatives to it when it comes to the stat bars down below on the left-hand corner. I try to balance out all of my class setups to make them like this. I feel like the more balanced they are, the more optimal the class setup is, in my opinion. So every single class setup I just provided for you guys, they do not have a single shade of red. It's a very complex mixture of certain attachments with specific tuning. What I was looking for was the best guns in each category, whether that be assault rifles, submachine guns, or light machine guns. So these are clearly weapon classes that are very convenient for most people to use, and I've taken the best ones from each of those categories. So starting off with the RAAL MG, the reason why I talked about this first is because this TTK is absolutely insane at 108 millisecond time to kill. That is extremely fast. You literally delete people so quickly with this gun. It's just absolutely disgusting. But of course, like I mentioned, do not rush around with this gun. It's an LMG at the end of the day. So that's why you need to pick and choose your gunfights. Don't let the gunfights choose you. Now moving on to the Chimera. This is a new assault rifle in Season 1 Reloaded. When I first used it, I knew I had to test this out. This is just absolutely insane time to kill at 147 milliseconds up to this 24-meter range. This takes the cake for the best assault rifle at closer ranges. All right, and next up for the submachine guns, we have the Lachmann sub at 150 millisecond time to kill. So the thing that's great about this gun is that its mobility is so optimal. It's great for close quarter situations, and the fact that it carries a very low TTK. Remember folks, low is better when you're looking at TTK stats. The lower the TTK, the faster you kill your opponents. That's why I chose the Lachmann sub for close quarter engagements. All right, and next up we have the Fennec 45, again from the SMG category, for the close to mid-range engagements. I am leaning more towards the Fennec 45 in a sense that it carries pretty competitive TTK versus the Lachmann sub, but at a longer range. So the flexibility with this gun is a lot better. That's why I provided you guys with 2 separate class setups with the Fennec 45. This TTK is really tough to ignore. All right, and last but not least, we have the Kastov 7.62. Now, the reason why I mentioned that it is the most consistent assault rifle in the game is because of this TTK that it holds all throughout this 45-meter range. There's no damage range drop off until about this range, and this is a pretty sufficient range for most of the maps that we have in the game. So you can imagine how competitive this gun is, you know, whether it's close range or long range. So in short, that's why I went with the Kastov 7.62. It just feels really consistent and the stats prove it. If you enjoyed today's video, a like is appreciated on your way out, and subscribe for more Call of Duty content. Turn on notifications, super important to do so you never miss another video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a good rest of your day.